Get ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. That Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis.
Welcome to Season 7, Episode 47 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, May 8th, 2019. This is franchise episode number 180 all-time. Your hosts tonight are yours truly, Kurt Price, Bill Day, and Jeff Ponder, and we'll be with you for the next little while talking St. Louis Blues playoff hockey and their second-round victory over the Dallas Stars, which culminated in a thrilling double overtime Game 7 winner from Patrick Maroon last night. If you interact with the show on social media, follow the show on Twitter. At LGB Radio is the show's account. Mine is at Kurt Price. Bill's is at Billy Blue Note. Jeff's is at JPonder94. Also follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and the website is letsgoblues.com. Real quick, podcasting, hosting issue, junk jargon here. We switched over, and apparently some of the iTunes is being a bitch. And the feed is not updating properly on iTunes, so we're waiting for that to happen. But so if you're an iTunes or a user or Google or an Apple Podcast listener, if the latest show isn't showing up for you, Spotify or Google Podcasts or a number of other apps, but hopefully it gets fixed soon. It's ridiculous. It's a known issue with iTunes. iTunes is a piece of shit. I hate iTunes so much. I'm not an Apple user. I don't use it all the time, but when I do use it, it's awful. I hate it.
Do you think possibly it's something that they said, all the voices in their head? Is that what's causing the problem here, Gloria?
I think Gloria's causing the problem.
Maybe.
Yeah,
man. Me and you, back when we first started getting the show up in 2011, that's right, folks, 2011, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. We used to have so many issues with iTunes. It's for those that have never podcasted or don't know anybody who podcasts, getting it on any other feed is just like, here, submit your RSS feed. Boom, you're done. iTunes, it's like having to climb Mount Everest. It's ridiculous. So when they have an issue like this, it's just so infuriating because you're like, okay, I don't know what to do because I don't want to spend 3 hours trying to figure out how iTunes works.
It's a piece of shit. The whole platform for podcasting is awful. As far as, getting on there, once you get on there, it's fine. But man, if you got to change something or you want something updated, forget about it. You got to jump through 14 hoops and you got to wait forever and it doesn't update properly or if ever. It's so stupid. And I contacted a podcast host and they're like, yeah, it's kind of a known issue with iTunes and so whatever. Fuck off, Apple. Guys, we're going to the conference finals. How's it feel? I'll be that bad interviewer after players after a game. So how's it feel to score a big goal in a big game? What's going through your mind right now?
So you're going to be a bad interviewer, so you're just going to be yourself?
Well, if man, that came out of nowhere. This is like a happy show, and
Ooh.
you're like just throwing insults for no reason.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh, burn.
If you're gonna be a dick, then we can just move on to the official beers episode. Oh, Bill, how you doing? He's got to unmute himself. He's got dog issues. He's still muted.
No, I will
I
say.
do.
listen,
I do have
Oh, there
dog
he goes.
issues, and I feel great. To answer your question, it's it's so completely unexpected to be going back to the conference finals after 3 years instead of 15.
I know. Yes. That was the pattern, right?
Yeah,
We go, and then
that was
15
it.
years. Yeah, every 15 years we go. It was a pattern for a couple of years, couple of years, but yeah, f that noise.
Yeah, 86, 2001, and 2016.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I'll admit when 2016 when they went, I seriously thought, oh, all right, well, if they don't make it past this, I'm going to be in my 40s the next time they go to. And I was just, oh my God, when they lost, I'm like, come on, please prove me wrong. And that was man. I mean, we'll talk about it here in a bit, but I was on cloud 9 last night. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it was that was the most insane feeling that I have had. I think it eclipsed when we beat Chicago a couple years back.
Ooh, you like this one better, huh?
Yeah, it just because it was just so unexpected, and I think because it got dragged out into 2 overtimes in a game that we completely dominated.
Yeah, that was scary. That was scary. I was scared to death.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it too. I mean, I've said this a million times since like March. There's just something different about this team. 2016 team, I was okay. Maybe they might, but I never really believed. I just like, well, they're gonna, they're not gonna go all the way. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the run they've had since January, but I believe in this team finally. And seeing them win last night, it brought this, I hate to say it, fanboy out of me that's been buried inside of me since 2001, which was the last time I really believed they could win the cup.
Before we get too far into this, what are you guys drinking this evening? Your beers.
So I am going with Wood Aged Bitches Brew by Dogfish Head Brewery. So
Another Dogfish Head Brewery.
Yeah, that's I found quite the collection of individual bottles recently at Friar Talk and decided to try a bunch of them. So this is the last one I have. It is an imperial stout brewed with honey, which is just a little different, interesting twist. 9% alcohol by volume, and of course, Bitches Brew is the seminal fusion jazz rock album by the legendary local jazz artist Miles Davis. So it is a really good beer. I really enjoy it, and the album is quite trippy. I felt this is very very apropos for this crazy ass ride we're going on.
I've got to put a millennial spin on this. So when you say Miles Davis, the first thing that comes to mind is, if peeing your pants is cool, you can call me Miles Davis. That's the grossest thing I've ever heard. Let's go.
What do you got, Jeff? What are you drinking?
Well, I've my alcoholic drink. I'm actually I'm pairing it with something, which we'll get to in a minute. Something
all fancy noise.
It's not really an actual pair, so you'll probably laugh when I tell you. But it's I'm going with the same
pair to be able to pair.
All right. Tonight I'm going with the same one I had last week, the Schlafly Pale Ale. Basically, I got these on special a couple weeks ago, and I've got a ton of them. So I am continuing to work through my Schlafly Pale Ale. And of course, I say that. Oh, that's the only reason is, he's got a bunch. It's a good damn beer. That's why I have so many. So that's why I'm drinking it again. But what's that?
I was going to say, it's not as if you have a bunch of Mick Ultras.
No. I do. Quick story. Someone who listens to the show, friend of ours that plays in our tournaments with us, Mr. Greg Hotard. He we have a little Christmas Eve skate that my friends and I do every year. A bunch of people that I play with now, and then people who don't only play once a year that maybe I went to high school with and all that. We get together at a rink and we just, skate and have a good time. And we usually have a bunch of beer with us. So my buddy was like, he gets out of my car, Greg, and he's like, "Hey man, just take all this beer." Okay, sure. I didn't realize it was Mick Ultra, and which is fine. I mean, hey, thanks, buddy. So I had a bunch of free beer, but it was like, I guess the wife will drink this.
There are worse things, much worse things than Mick Ultra. It could have been Bush.
That's true.
Yeah,
Great point.
I did have a Mick Ultra while golfing today.
I don't mind Mick Ultra. Mick Ultra's fine.
Yeah, no.
It's-
When doing active things, after a run, like after a race, when they give them away, that's awesome. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
enjoy that.
At an event where they're giving beer away and it's free, like a golf tournament or something, and say, "Oh, it's Mick Ultra." That's fine. I'll take that. That's good. That works for me. I mean, it's better than a lot of other options that could have been there.
It's a decent beer to drink on a warmer day too.
Yeah.
It's light, it's smooth. It's just not my favorite.
And it's not one that I'll pay for.
Right. My beer tonight. This is a special beer. St. Nicholas Brewery, St. Nicholas Brewing Company, out of DeCoin, Illinois. They hooked us up with, and you guys would have had some, but you guys didn't make it out tonight. So, but next time you guys are in the studio, maybe next week, we'll see. We got some more, but they hooked us up with a bunch of bomber bottles. And when I say a bunch, I mean like 8 of a few of their different brews, and it's pretty good. St. Nicholas Brewing Company. I got the Cadence Porter tonight. Let me hold the camera. Cadence Porter, and in there, I've noticed their beers are all like cycling themed beers, so that's pretty cool. They also gave us a pale ale, Peloton pale ale, and a blonde ale, and then a. Let me grab the other one from the bottle. From the thing here.
He just went to his wine cellar, everybody.
I'm walking down the stairs. Can you hear me walking on the cobblestones? And then a single batch series, which I'm not sure what this is. Single batch series. It's got handwritten notes on it, so it's good. Batch style. I can't read it. Whoa, something. Maybe it's a person's name. I don't know. 8%. So I'm looking forward to drinking some of these, and you guys, when you get over here, you can have some as well. But thank you to St. Nicholas Brewing Company in DeCoin, Illinois.
Yeah, that's awesome. We originally, the plan this morning was all three of us were going to be in studio together, but of course, the exact opposite happened. So, Kurt, don't drink all the beer. Hopefully next week we will be over with you, and we will enjoy some of those with you.
If I drink 8 bomber bottles in a week, I have a problem. I think.
Well, maybe you do.
We've been trying to talk to you about that, Kurt.
You guys are shitty interveners because I didn't even know that.
Apparently we are.
But no,
So I know that
the porter is very good, and I will. The others look good too, and then we'll give them a try. Upcoming shows.
So the reason that I want to mention the thing that I am also drinking at the same time, which I know is very strange, but I got the new Dr. Pepper Dark Berry flavor. It's a limited edition flavor. You guys like Dr. Pepper, don't you?
I don't drink. I like Dr. Pepper. I don't drink soda anymore, but I like it. It's good.
Dr. Pepper is the only soda I drink. Like I literally don't drink any other kind of soda. So I've always been a fan of DP, and so this is for it's in promotion of the new Spider-Man movie. It's called Dark Berry. Out I think only until July. So pretty good. It's got like a blackberry grape hint to it, but you still taste the Dr. Pepper flavor. So it's think of it like cherry, but replace cherry with blackberry, and it's good. It's pretty good.
Today in Blues History, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, May 8th, 2019. 1998, May 8th, 1998. Brett Hull scored his last St. Louis Blues goal, which was a game winner. Grant Fuhr was named the #1 star in the Blues 4-2 win versus the Detroit Red Wings in Game 1 of their second round matchup versus the Wings that year. The Blues went on to lose the next 3 games in that series, and for the next 5 to lose in 6 games. That was during the era of the punch
Russian 5. And,
yeah. Oh god, yeah. We hated them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them was the dark days for sure.
I mean, we had good teams. They weren't dark days necessarily. I mean, they were dark days for playoff wise because of the results, but we had good teams, and we couldn't get past the Wings. 1996, May 8th, 1996. Tony Twist scored his first career playoff goal to tie the game, and this is a playoff game against the Red Wings again. And Igor Kravchuk scored the overtime winner in the Blues 5-4 win versus the Detroit Red Wings. This was the series with the double overtime game. 7 Yzerman goal on John Casey.
Yes,
it's so funny because I remember 90% of Blues games. Like you mentioned these playoff games in the STL Blues history. This day in STL Blues, whatever this segment's called. And I remember these games, and obviously I remember this game, but man, I don't remember anything but the Yzerman goal, and I hate that. That pisses me off.
I remember, I don't necessarily remember. I remember scores a little bit, and I remember kind of where I was when some games were happening. Because I was I was at Carbondale, getting ready to come back home for something. After graduation, I guess it was. Maybe no, that was the year before. I don't know, but I remember being at Carbondale for a game or two, and then home for the rest of them. So that this was game. I think this was game 3 because with the Wings in '96, they won the first 2. The Blues won the next 3. So and then we were up 3-2, and then the Wings won the next 2. I remember the St. Louis going crazy too for the Blues that when they won 3 straight against Detroit. And we're up 3-2. I remember the whole city, round 2, whole city's in playoff mode. We're one game away from going to the conference finals. This time was the first time since 86. So,
yeah. I the Kravchuk game winner. I was there that game. I remember that was one of those nights, and I know there was some video of it last night. It was a little more celebratory because of the series win, but. Everybody, cheering, chanting in unison on the way out the building. It was amazing.
1982, May 8th, 1982. The St. Louis Blues held a garage sale that included jerseys from the inaugural season, which is, and there's a clipping here from the newspaper article. Blues garage sale. The Blues Hockey Club will hold a garage sale in the main lobby of the Checker Dome this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. On sale will be sticks, pants, stockings, gloves, and skates in used and new condition. Some of the items of interest that will be on sale, including the original St. Louis Blues jerseys from 67, 68, and nameplates from all ex-Blues players. And the last line is, no, Emile Francis is not unloading any of his players, which I thought was funny.
That's a good line. That's funny.
Yeah, this is 82, huh? I was only 8 years old, so I don't remember the. I mean, I think Blues do this every year. They have these sales, but man, to have the inaugural season jerseys in the sale, I wonder how much they went for at the time. They were only, 16 years old or 14 years old at the time. So I guess, yeah. But still, I wonder how much they went for. Someone out there knows.
And I bet that someone's STL Blues history.
So I was thinking the same thing.
He needs to find this out for us. All right. Round 2, Blues and Stars, Game 6. We can start with Game 6. Facing elimination and having lost the last 2 games in the series, the Blues are on the road in Dallas. Sammy Blais gets into his first career playoff game, which ends up, in hindsight, being a brilliant decision by Berube. Usually on the road in the playoffs, you want to survive the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game when the home team comes out with a lot of energy. The Stars had just went up 3-2, and they could have closed out at home. The crowd's going nuts. You got to think they're going to come out strong. And then what happens? We score. 63 seconds into the first period.
Yeah, let me add something real quick. So going into this game, and we talked about it after we talked about game 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. After game 5, there was so much negativity surrounding the Blues. And hey, listen, I've been there. The Jets series, when they went down in game 5, I thought, this is it. It's over. The magical run's over. I get it. I understand the negativity. But holy shit, everybody on Twitter was meltdown. This is it. It's over. They don't stand a chance. They go back to Dallas. Dallas is going to win this game. There's no chance. I mean, it was insane. I'm like, people remember that the Blues are a good road team, right? Not only are they winning on the road, they come back in dramatic fashion and win on the road.
We talked. Our last show was after game 3, so we didn't talk about 4 or 5, which we're not going to talk about. I mean, I'm not going to go detail about those games. That's old news. But yeah, no, I agree with you. But you know what? Everybody on social media, and there's so many. Not everybody, but there are so many people guilty of it. With when you win a playoff game, and actually players have said this, that it's interesting, but fans same way. When you win a playoff game, oh my God, we're so good, we can win the cup. And after you lose one game, it's like, oh my God, we suck so bad, we're gonna lose this series, we're done. I can't stand the bipolarness of a lot of fans after we lose a game in the playoffs, or even if we don't play good in a game at all and lose, and it's almost, oh my God, it's just over, it just sucks, I can't watch this team anymore. I fucking hate it. It's just I can't. After a loss, I really kind of pull back from Twitter. I try to, because it's just toxic. It is just ridiculous. People are insanely crazy, stupid about a loss in the playoffs. Even down 3-2, people had thrown in the towel. I have no confidence whatsoever. I'm like, it's 3-2, and I mean, I don't. I don't get it. I just don't. I get being nervous and worried. Oh my gosh, for one loss away from being eliminated. But it's 3-2. We're not down 3-0. It's so stupid.
And it's also the fact that, I mean, again, this team's great on the road, but 3-2, you take it one game at a time. I mean, how many times just this season, right? Wasn't Toronto up 3-2 on Boston?
Were they?
I could be wrong.
I'm not sure they were not.
It seems so long ago.
Yeah, it really does. No, either way. I mean, it happens every year. They're not every year, but a lot, that a team goes down 3-2, and then the other team comes back and wins both games. You just got to take it one game at a time. For Blues fans at that point, 3-2, yeah, it looks bad. It doesn't look good, but when you think about it, okay, they're going to the road in Dallas. Blues are great on the road. They win the game. That's a game 7 in St. Louis. Anything can happen in game 7. And people just refuse to see the big picture. They just see the 3-2 and think, shit, we're done.
I think it was mentioned on the radio today. I forgot who said it, but game 7s played the home team. I'm not sure how far back he was going with this comment or the stat, but 70% of the time, the home team wins the game 7. And that shocked me, because I know that home ice advantage in the playoffs isn't a big thing. But I've always said that, home ice advantage is not a big thing up until you get to game 7. Then I think it's a thing. I think then I said, I don't want that game 7 on the road. I know the players don't. They want to play at home for that game 7. And the Blues, I mean, not to jump ahead of this game, but we're talking about, but they played a really, really good game 7. So, I mean, and would they have played that? Would we have won that game in Dallas? I mean, do we win a double overtime game in Dallas? I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe
not. Who knows? But 63 seconds into game 6, we take the crowd out, which was which was a big deal. Nice play. Shen caused this goal. I mean, Petrangelo shoots it, but Shen is screening Bishop in front along with the defenseman who was tying him up, and it finds the back of a net stick side. So 1-0 Blues early on. I'm thinking Blues Nation's pretty pumped to get that first goal, because the stat for the series was the team that scored first had won every game except for one.
Yeah, and that's kind of been that's been the case for all the playoffs this year. I remember, I think it was last year, first time ever, where there was a night where every single game, the team that scored first did not win. I think every game went to overtime and the other team won. And that's rare. That rarely happens. So when the Blues jump out, and I remember people even saying this, even I think the commentators saying if the Blues have any chance, they got to get on the board early. They have to get in Bishop's head early, and that's exactly what they did. And man, Braden Shen, I mean, we don't have to have this discussion right now, but we probably should have it soon. Free agent, end of the year. My God, right now, they have got to re-sign him the way he's played.
You know what's hilarious about that comment is that a lot
Trade
of
him.
people wanted him traded earlier this season, along with a couple other players. But he was like the guy, like last season too. Not last season. Oh, yeah, last season his name came up. Yeah, I was always, and this is not a hindsight thing. I was saying this time. I said I want to keep Shen. I'd like to try and keep him if we can. I like him. I like what he brings. He didn't have as good a year this year as last season, but playoffs, I mean, when we got him, I think, man, he's a guy that's kind of built for the playoffs. I mean, just the guy you want on your team in the playoffs. And he's been a good player. Yeah. I always whether it's not proof points or not, he's creating things. He's not invisible at all out there.
Right. And I think a lot of the trade talk about him was back when the playoffs were a fucking pipe dream for this team. Right. And since he's out of contract, of course he's going to be the guy that is the easiest to unload, and he obviously would have value to other teams. But thank God this team figured it out, and Doug Armstrong didn't pull the trigger when we were so far out. Oh, did you guys know we were in last place January 3rd?
Has that been down our throats enough? Oh my God.
Really? I had no idea. I've been watching every game on mute, every radio broadcast, everything.
We were in last place, but there really should be an asterisk next to that, because we've said it before that we had played like 6 fewer games than a lot of the teams ahead of us. So we were playing poorly, but we weren't the worst team in the league at the time. We had the worst record point wise, but we weren't the worst team.
Right. Well, and we kept saying too, like, this team is like, when is this team going to break out? Like we all said, like, we're just waiting for this team to break out. They just haven't, and you keep thinking they will. And I remember one time I even said, "It's January, guys. I don't think they're going to," and then all of a sudden they did. I mean, it's.
Well, this is the first team ever to win a playoff series when they were in last place on, I guess, January 3rd.
After January 1st.
After January 1st, first team ever won a playoff series, and now the first team ever won 2 playoff series. So beat that, anybody ever.
Yeah. So we got a couple comments here that I want to mention. First of all, 91 Reasons You Lose says, finally been waiting for this. Let's go Blues. He's talking about the shows. He's been tweeting us. So thank you for the support, sir. We appreciate it. Bob Rakowski says, was listening to a show from January today. The discussion was trading Maroon and Petro.
Yeah. Remember that. Well, and to be fair.
To be fair.
I mean, anybody who tells you that we want to Maroon. There was talk of moving Maroon because he wasn't playing well at all, and I think that he could have had value. Someone could have wanted him. New Jersey wanted him bad in the offseason. So he turned down a lot of money to go to play here. A lot of money from New Jersey. So I mean, I think the thought was trade some pieces to get some resources back to help the team in the future. I think moving Maroon could have gotten you a pick or something. So, that was not a crazy thought at the time.
No, it wasn't. Well, and we even had the discussion: who would you rather have, Maroon or Berglund?
Oh,
I think the
said
answer now is Maroon, but I said Berglund back then.
I said Maroon. I remember that because I said Maroon because of the salary and yeah.
Well, yeah, salary, yeah. But I mean, in terms of player, it was like, well, Berglund gives you this. Maroon's not really giving you anything.
That's true. But I think I had like some kind of disdain for Berglund, so I just didn't want to. I couldn't pick him.
So getting back to our Shen discussion, which opened up this wormhole, Crave Walrus in our chat, which I don't know if you've ever been a part of the show before here, Crave. So thanks for joining us.
Welcome to the show.
Can score, hit, make space, and has a killer shot. Definitely need to re-sign. And I agree with that. I've loved his game since he got here. You know, you heard all the negative talk from Flyers fans about, I don't know, how he's a selfish player or whatever whatever it was. I've never seen any of that in 2 years. I've been happy to have him out there in the first line, second line. Doesn't matter who he's playing with. He's always given his all.
What is it with the East Coast hockey fans that don't tend to know they can't evaluate their own players? With the Flyers fans ragging on Shen, and then the Buffalo fans ragging on O'Reilly. I mean,
they're just more angry over there, I guess.
They just, I mean, it's mostly the salty air.
If this is your junk, we'll take it every time.
Yeah,
yeah, please. Junk.
Douglas Johannes jumps in. Good friend Doug, also known as Zed, on the show. If he wants to stay, he wants center, which I'm fine with. I mean, I know that for a long time there, he was playing the wing, but I think he looks great at center. I'd be more than happy to keep him there if that's kind of one of his stipulations with the head coach.
Yeah, we got some active chat in the YouTube, and Bob Rakowski says I have no problem with him at all at center, and I think most fans feel the same way.
I remember one of the discussions also, getting back to our January talk, was, you know, what if I remember at one point I said, and I think you guys even agreed, I'd rather build this team around O'Reilly and Shen than Schwartz and Tarasenko, because at the time Shen and O'Reilly were playing great, and Schwartz and Tarasenko were coming off an awful 2018. So yeah, that's how much we've loved Shen on this show.
The YouTube chat just spoiled the next Avs goal for me.
Yeah, me too.
3-2. Here it comes, right? Maybe not. No. How far?
I'm still on a damn commercial break.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I'm 19-20 into the third right now.
I've got a blank screen right now, so you spoiled the Avs goal for me.
Here it is. Right there, boom. Goal. 1909. Wait for it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm like 5 minutes away from that, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we don't have a no spoilers rule in the chat, so it's fine.
No. Go ahead.
So Pietrangelo puts the Blues up 1-0, which was a big goal. Then the Stars and the Seguin goal make it 1-1. He found a soft spot in the low slot. One time the puck from Zuccarello on the right wing that squeaks through Bennington's pads and trickles across the goal line. It went in before he tapped it in the second time. But so some people were saying that was a softie for Bennington. I mean, whatever.
It
went through him.
It was a leaker.
It was a leaker,
but not a softie.
It's a power play goal. It's a one-timer from the slot. He's going across. It snuck through his 5-hole. It's not. I wouldn't call it a softie. But then Perron gives the Blues the lead 2-1 on a dump in. Lindell tries to jump and glove the puck down, but it goes off his glove and towards the boards. And Sundqvist skates in, grabs the puck, and has a couple steps on Lindell. Throws the puck across the slot to Perron, who was well covered on this. This was an interesting goal. He was well covered the whole time, but he gets his stick on the puck to actually kind of one-time it by Bishop, who didn't react well to the pass across, was playing the shot the whole way. Figured his defenseman had the pass, which they should have. They did, but just kind of botched the coverage at the very end. And I think when Perron went to shoot this puck, his stick hits the defenseman's stick, which I don't know who the defenseman was on him at the time.
It was Lindbergh, wasn't that Lindbergh? Hell, I can't remember his name.
Lindell,
Never mind. Keep going. Lindell.
No, he was on the other wing. He was on the other side.
Oh, maybe not.
Because he was the one that tried to glove the puck and missed it. But yeah, Perron said that he didn't see the puck when he hit it, and he didn't see it go in. He saw it coming, but then lost it because he was kind of screaming at the defenseman. Which, if you've played, you know how that works. If you're a forward, you're looking for a backdoor pass, and the pass is coming through players, through defensemen and people that are covering you. And you see the pass, you know the pass is coming, you see the motion for the pass, and you might see the puck initially, and then it disappears in legs, and your eyes are in someone's shoulder. So you just kind of just wave at it because you think you know when it's coming. And he made contact and it went in. He said he didn't see it hit his stick, and he didn't see it go in. So
that was John Kleinberg, by the way.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, David. I've been there. And then Schwartz scores the goal everyone was talking about, which I thought was a social media comedy store after the goal was scored. This is the goal that where Parayko almost shattered Bishop's collarbone. Steen did a good job sticking with it. Grabs the rebound, fires it towards the net, and good thing Schwartz tipped this because it was going wide. Steen's shot was going a little bit wide.
Wait a minute, you're telling me Alexander Steen was about to shoot the puck wide?
He shot it wide. It's not surprising he shoots all the time, but he was shooting it wide. Hey, granted, in his defense, he was turning, wheeling, and firing, knowing that Bishop was down. Good on him for that because he knew he was down. He was playing to the whistle, and I'm going to shoot it before he gets back up, which was brilliant. And Schwartz tips it out of midair under the bar. Blues score up 3-1. Stars Twitter goes nuts about.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. You're sitting here saying that was a great move by Steen. What a classless move by Steen to shoot the puck before the whistle goes. I mean, that's a class. No class. I mean, you do not shoot the puck before the whistle. I mean, right?
Right.
That was the argument. That was literally the argument.
Wait until the whistle.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have class.
Sure.
Like Jamie
that was literally the argument that people had.
Yeah, and it's funny because the main argument was being a good sport and showing class and not shooting the puck on a goalie that's hurt. I'm like, hold on. We just came off of a game where your players were diving left and right trying to draw penalties, and it was like national news. Former players are calling it the worst case of diving they've ever seen in their lives.
Yeah.
And people are calling for suspensions and whatnot or fines. And so don't even just GTFO. Okay. Get the fuck out. Jesus Christ.
I was honestly like, I knew when that went in, I knew there was going to be some people that were going to say, oh yeah, I knew that was coming, but to see the amount of people that said it, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and bash Stars fans. I'm a former Dallas resident of 10 months. So I don't want to bash anyone I used to live with.
Oh,
but my God, so another example of just craziness that is the bandwagon Stars fans. I don't know if you guys saw this. The next day when they announced that Bishop was coming back, all they did was post a picture of Bishop in his mask and coming out with the green fog around him. And you could clearly see the 30 on his sleeve. You saw his mask. You saw and it said, look who's going to be starting game 6, game 7.
Game 7.
And they, there was literally people on Twitter saying, who is that? I can't see the name. Who is that? Stars fans that have Go Stars in their Twitter profile. How do you not know?
I mean, it's playoffs. Every team gets a bunch of fans that jump on the bandwagon that don't really know the numbers and they don't really know the sport. Yeah, and I had there was a guy who I conversed with on Twitter. We were talking about this, some Stars fan, and he said 9 times out. I've watched hockey my whole life, and I said 9 times out of 10 that play's blown dead. And I'm like, I can tell you that it was blown dead because the defending team grabbed the puck and got possession, or the mask came off. That's when the whistle blew, because the whistle blows immediately when the mask comes off. Something like that. Or if the official thinks that it's an injury that needs immediate attention from the medical staff. Something like that. Because that's in the rule book. That's the way the rule is written. The official got it 100% correct.
I will say that I have seen it before where a team, like let's say the Blues have the puck, Bishop gets hurt, Blues still have possession, but it looks so bad that they'll blow the whistle. I've seen that before, and I'm okay with it if it looks that bad. So if people want to take issue with that and say, okay, well, it's the referee's fault, he should have blown the whistle. Okay, I'm fine with you arguing that. But to piss on the Blues because they kept playing until the whistle, which is literally one of the first things you learn in midget hockey, is you play until the whistle. And there was no whistle, so they kept going.
That's a universality in sports. It's not just hockey. You play until it's stopped. Jesus.
Yeah, I like I said, I think the vast majority of you know what though, there was a former goalie. Who was it? I think he played for Buffalo.
Bill Day.
No, he was replying to a Spit and Chicklets thread on Twitter, and he said he was surprised the whistle didn't go. And I was like, really? Because now if you think you're surprised the whistle didn't go because you thought the referee should have thought that Bishop was hurt really bad and needed attention. So I think if that's your philosophy, okay, I get it. Like you said, the ref should have blown the whistle. If that's your take, that's just a difference of opinion. But Bishop did stay in the game. And the coach after the game said he was fine. And he started game 7. He was fine. So turns out, hindsight, to judge the whole thing in hindsight, the referee made the exact right call because he was not hurt and needed medical attention. He stayed in the game. So there is no argument to me at all.
No, I agree. And Doug Johannes says former ref said he was surprised it didn't blow. Was that Kerry Frazier? I didn't see if he said anything.
Yeah,
I thought Kerry Frazier said. I thought okay.
No, Kerry Frazier was adamant that the whistle should have blown
because he thought Bishop was hurt bad.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a line drawn between referees that they've said, yeah, I would have blown the whistle there, and others said, no, I wouldn't have. It's like you said, Kurt. It's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, and to be honest, the Stars have had a reputation in this series of diving and embellishing. So
Bishop too,
and that may have factored in to this a little bit. They may have oh well, you know what? You're not getting the benefit of the doubt this time because your whole team has been embellishing like crazy this series. I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt because it hit. I mean, that makes sense to me.
No, I actually, that was going to be my next point too, is that we saw Bishop. Wasn't it this game that Maroon got that interference penalty? Was that this game? I can't remember. Either way, listen, he did, and I'm fine with that penalty call. But the way Bishop went down, like, come on, man. And then we saw it a couple times. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, the play where Maroon like tries to get out of the way and gets him in the back of the head when Bishop kind of goes down. Yeah, and we talked on Twitter about that play, and I thought, yeah, I agree. I was a penalty, but I think it looked worse than it was. But I really think Maroon looked like he tried to get out of the way and tried to not make contact, and he kind of did that almost, but he still made enough contact where I thought it was a penalty.
Yeah, I agree. But Bishop's reaction on that, I thought, was over the top.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that you really do start getting a reputation. I mean, I know that referees will tell you till they're blue in the face that they don't pay attention to reputation when they're making penalty calls or not penalty calls or blowing play dead or whatever. I know that's absolute bullshit. And granted, again, I'm talking beer league here, but there was a guy I played with who every time he got touched, he would fly down on the rink, he'd flop and start writhing in pain. Every referee in the St. Louis area knew this guy and said, hey, like I remember them talking to me before games. Hey, just so you know, if your player number 21, I'm not going to say his name because I think he might listen to the show. If that guy goes down, we're not calling a penalty. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. He dies all the time. I'm cool with that. So it's referees absolutely playoff reputation, and Bishop has earned that reputation, at least in this series.
And I'm not saying that referees never call that play dead. They certainly do. I've seen the call play dead when it maybe shouldn't have been. But to go back what I initially said with the interaction I had with the guy on Twitter, the Stars fan, he was saying 9 out of 10 times. I'm like, no, it's not that many. That doesn't happen. That in the exact same scenario, 9 out of 10 times, no, I don't think so. And then what's funny is about 30 seconds later, Ben, this play, this whole series, the last couple goals couldn't have just been any more interesting, because 30 seconds later, Ben turns the puck over inside the Blues blue line. Of all people to turn over, one of my most hated players. Ben turns it over. O'Reilly steals, pushes the puck up to Blais, who basically comes down 2-0 with O'Reilly. And then Blais decides to let go a slap shot on a breakaway, which I fucking love. That was fantastic. And he zipped it by Ben's ear over his shoulder. And when Bishop got hurt, and I know everybody that's ever played hockey with any, like in a league or organized hockey that has, and you guys know I'm going with this. As soon as Bishop gets hit, all the forwards, all the shooters, people who are going to shoot, like, oh, we're going high. We're going high. Next time we're zinging one by his ear. And Bill's probably seen this in action on the other end of the stick where he's faced those shots.
Preach.
Yeah, and that's what you do. And what did Blais do? 30 seconds later, breakaway. He lets a slap shot go on a breakaway, and Bishop didn't move. He went down. He didn't move.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is definitely something we all do. I mean, we still do it in men's league. We hear a guy talking and say, "Oh man, my left knee's hurting. I'm not going to be able to go down to my left." Well, we're shooting fucking low left all night. Like that's hockey. And another thing, and there's even some Blues fans that are arguing this because people were posting that on Twitter. Oh, shoot high on Bishop now. People are again calling other people classless for that. No, you exploit your team, the other team's weaknesses, and right now that's going to be a weakness for Bishop.
Yeah, especially when you're in a series against a guy who, if the Stars move on, is their leading Conn Smythe candidate. You're looking for any advantage you can get on that, and that that was in talking to people at work, and saying the Blais quote I thought was really disingenuous, saying he saw that he had a little bit of room on the blocker side and just aimed for it and wasn't necessarily trying to go upstairs. I don't think that's true. He's absolutely he's busted the tower with that shot.
Sure.
It's brilliant. And immediately Jim Montgomery took him out because he knew.
Yeah, right. No, I agree. And my thinking was that, okay, if you go high and you miss high, next time wind up and slide it on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's coming up. He's, oh man, they're shooting high on me again.
Right.
You come up, but Bishop tends to go down a lot anyway. But his is a weakness anyway. So,
well, let me ask you, Bill. You might have the answer to this question. Let's say that same thing happens to you a couple of years ago when you're playing goal. You get hit up high. You go down in pain. Oh my God, it hurts. But you know what? I'm going to stay in. I mean, you probably know, right, that the other forwards are going, well, shit, we got to shoot high on this guy now. So you're probably ready for the high shot. So that's probably a good move to maybe slide it along the ice, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's situationally, depending on who the opponent is, if they're smart enough to come away with that, because I won't say that, a lot of the competition back when I was still playing goal was very, headstrong, smart kind of people. But I digress. No, It's been so long since I've played goal in a organized league. I knew something. I knew that probably the first shot was coming at my head, and from there on out, it was, flip a coin. Don't know what's coming.
Bobby
For those that
Hall,
don't know, Bill has the last time he played goal, the Alamo was still standing.
it's actually still standing.
Yeah, right.
It's just not
This,
all there.
this is a true statement.
Sorry about that.
Bobby Hall, back on the, I think it was the Brett Hall's Top Gun video from, the early 90s or whatever it was, the Midas VHS tape. He was on there saying about how you'd zing a guy, you'd zing a slap shot of pie on somebody, buzz it by the ear, crack him in the helmet, and the next time you come down, you wind up and you slide it on the ice because they're lifting up, to block a shot of pie, but then you zip it on the ice and they're not going to block it down low. So there's a couple of schools of thought about it, but I thought when Blake came down and zipped it high, I'm like, oh, it's the whole bench is talking about it. And actually, you know what? Jones and Sharp in the intermission after the game, they talked about the exact same thing. They talked about how on the bench you're talking about going high again. Yep. So it's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's
totally
definitely a thing. So real quick, I also want to mention you mentioned the slap shot from Blay on a breakaway. The last time I remember seeing that was Al McInnes coming out of the penalty box. The Blues got a 5-on-3. They cleared it out. McInnes comes out in the penalty box, comes down 1-on-1 with the goalie, winds up at the damn hash marks and takes a slap shot, beats the goalie high. I mean, what goalie's going to stop that? So yeah, you see a guy wind up on a breakaway, you're just thinking, oh shit.
Right. And, I think also, that was the end of a pretty long shift for both Blay and O'Reilly. They were both gassed. Blay didn't have any speed. And I mean, he's just, saw the spot, wound up, went high, blew it by him. Beautiful, beautiful moment that, really closed the door. It got us away from the best lead in hockey.
Bob Rakowski said that is that the goal the Bishop tried to take out O'Reilly's legs after? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
It was. Which is, I mean, I saw some people saying, "Oh, it was a dirty move by Bishop." I don't give a shit about that kind of thing. I really don't. I honestly don't.
No. If he wanted to put him into the corner on that play, he would have. And
yeah, right.
It's that. God damn it! I just got beat. I'm pissed. I'm gonna do something. No, I'm not. It's
a half-hearted slash hook kind of a thing. You go by. It's not, that is hockey in its essence right there. After a goal like that, you give a guy a whack. It's the way it is. I don't give a shit about that whatsoever. So they've tied it up. Things are looking good. Game 7. Back in St. Louis, the Blues had not played particularly well in their own building. They played much better on the road. But this game was one for the ages. Holy shit.
Before we get into the game, I want to mention again, going into this game, what people were talking about, and you mentioned it earlier. It is funny because you do see a little bit more positivity going into this game because the Blues are coming off a win, and you're saying, okay, people are saying, okay, this is going to happen. But I did see a lot of people that were just ready to yeah, okay, this is it, guys. Last game of the year. Some people are thinking, well, not thinking, but saying, Charles Glenn, it's been a great ride. This is your last game. I saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
And again, just going into this game, it's a game 7. Anything can happen.
I think
I was not ready to fold it in. I was not ready to celebrate. I was thinking, hey, one shot, that's all it takes in a game 7.
I was really nervous. Just anxious, uncomfortable. That was a better word for it. And I understand why people would have that mentality, have that defeatist mentality because of how things have gone in the past for the Blues in the playoffs. Game 7 in this situation is a game that previous Blues teams would have lost. They'd have lost this game. The way this game, double overtime, all those chances the Stars had. My God, I mean, not that they outplay the Blues in this game, but but some of the chances they had were such good chances. I mean, quality chances that really they could have scored in overtime a couple times easily, like the Blues could have, but it went back and forth. But I mean, previous Blues seasons, Ben scores in overtime. Cagliano on that backhander he had.
That was the one where I said, "This is it." I even said I said out loud, I go goal right before he shot it.
Yeah, I thought my heart sank when I saw that develop. I'm like, oh, this is it. And
that was the moment.
Yeah, right. And they showed it in slow mo, and he went to like do a chip backhander to make sure it got over Bennington's pad, and off the toe of his stick, and it wide. I mean, it was bouncing a little bit, but still, yeah. Oh God,
that's the puck luck we haven't got for 50 years.
I've said this, I don't know how many times. We've had teams that have been easily good enough in the past, a few times, to win the cup. They've been good enough. We could have had a few cups, but what didn't come together for us in the past was you need goaltending. Your team obviously needs to play well, and you need luck. And the Blues never had all three at the same time. Enough happened during a playoff season to stay alive and get to the final to win the cup. They oftentimes it was not getting the goaltending when they needed it. Oftentimes it was just being bad luck. Bergevin throwing the puck in his own net. A center ice shot from Owen Nolan. Shit like that. Just bad luck shit. That just weird stuff that goes in that you don't see.
Dustin Penner at the end of the second period.
Every year it's something else.
Yeah.
Every year it's something different. So we haven't had that this year. I mean, this year the Stars had it. They had Bennington, Bishop getting hit in the collarbone, and they had a number of chances with like I said, the Cagliano's the game on a stick, and he couldn't put it in.
Yeah,
so,
Jimmy Ben wraparound.
Yeah, the Ben. Oh my God, the Ben wraparound and his. Well, the halfway through the game, he had a chance at a goal. He had an open net, and his backhander went sailed just missed the post and hit the outside of the net.
Yeah, I was going to say too. I mean, you say that, but we did see a Blues bounce the one goal they scored. I mean,
right?
That was pitching the narrative for me right there. That goal goes in, and I said, fuck, here we go again. Yep. I mean, that was seriously the moment where I'm like, that's what's going to cause us to lose this series.
But you know what?
Shit right there.
Yeah, well, that came after Dunn's goal. Dunn made it 1-0, about 6.5 to go in the first. When he took a wrist shot, a couple players in front. Looked at first like Maroon tipped it, but it didn't. And then Bishop didn't pick it up, and it found the back of the net. So after that,
let's talk about that real quick. Vince Dunn, I thought this is the best game he had all playoff. He was the only one to me that was getting really quality chances in the first 3 periods of the game.
I've liked Dunn overall. I've liked him a lot. He's had some games where he's been off, but offensively, I have no problems with his skill. It's in our own zone. It's where he can kind of screw the pooch sometimes. But with that said, no, I agree with you. He had a very nice game, and obviously with the first goal being a big one. So he looked motivated. He was all over the ice. He was skating his hardest, getting back. I mean, there was multiple times I can remember where he was skated up in a shift, Blues turn it over, or the Stars got a hold of it in the corner, work it back up, and Dunn was hustling his ass off to get back in position to make sure that there wasn't an odd man rush. I mean, if he plays like that, I mean, he was playing balls to the wall the entire game, 5 periods. If he plays like that in the Western Conference Final, I mean, that's a nice lift for the Blues coming from one of their bottom defensemen. After that goal, Barbashev had a breakaway, missed. Bishop made a nice blocker save. But then the goal we just talked about, Zuccarello's goal, which the only goal that Dallas gets in this game was a gift goal from the officials in a sense that off of his skate. A goal that Jason Vogelsberg would have disallowed, I think.
Right, totally would have disallowed it.
Yeah.
In a winner take all game,
Yeah.
Where were you, Jason Vogelsberg? I actually almost tweeted that at you.
Yeah, because nobody knows this, but Vogelsberg was a guy we played hockey with, and he was an official in our league, for a while, and he called off one of my goal, actually called off a goal in the playoffs off him, and then went in the net, and he just said no goal. So
Yeah,
we talked about that goal before, because there was a goal this season that was identical
the
to that
shot,
play.
the shot off of I forget, was it Tim Peel's dick?
Yeah, Tim Peel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the exact same thing that happened to Vogelsberg.
Yeah, it's funny because after that happened, I had a friend, an old high school friend, contact me and ask me, what the hell's that about? Obviously not a guy who watches hockey a lot. So, why was that goal allowed? It shouldn't be. They need to change the rule. And I get that, but for those that feel that way, and it's going to sound weird that I'm defending the officials here. We're, again, as hockey players, we're told very early on, officials are part of the play. Which is why your buddy Jason Vogelsberg is probably not a good official, because that's like the puck taking a weird carom off the boards, hitting a weird stanchion in the glass, and bouncing back out. It's the same thing. It's
well, they do say in the rule book that a puck cannot go directly in the net off an official.
Right.
Yeah. But in the Vogelsberg case, it was something that was behind the net. It hit his skate, hit off the goalie's skate, and then
right. And the same thing happened with off Peel. It went off Peel, off Luongo, and in.
Yeah.
And that goal, by the rule book, should have counted. I get the spirit of the rule, but by the rule book, it should have counted.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, you think about it. If you've got a chance going the other way for for you Blues fans, it takes a weird bounce off the referee's back. Maybe the Blues clear it in, it bounces off the referee's back, and then squirts to the far blue line, and all of a sudden you got a breakaway. Do you really want them to blow that play dead? I mean, that's it just doesn't happen that often to where I think it's that big of a concern. It's just glaring when it's in a Game 7.
This play, though, wasn't like the Tim Peel play. It wasn't like the play that we're describing that happened in our league. This was a legit goal. I'm not saying that this shouldn't be a goal, but I'm just saying it was a fortunate bounce for the Stars. And to be honest, you saw there was chatter on Twitter about the Stars' lack of a power play, in the third period, going into the third period. People were expecting a makeup call. I mean, there's no makeup call. First off, the fact that here's why the Stars. I said this during the game, and it turned out they didn't get one, but which backed up what I thought, that for the Blues to get a penalty in this game, it would have to be something substantial. 1, it's a Game 7. 2, it's close. 3, a goal that went off an official directly caused. I mean, a play that went off an official directly led to a goal. So, and without, if the official gets out of the way, a goal isn't scored there, probably, right? So, they're not getting any calls. That goal was their calls for the game, as far as like playoff officiating goes. They're not calling penalties on the Blues. First off, they didn't call a lot of penalties on Dallas. They called 2. The Blues got 2 power plays, and I thought those 2 power plays were the makeup calls for the goal against. I thought they were penalties, but they weren't like major infractions, but they were penalties. They're trips. So, and people were waiting for Dallas to get the power play. I'm like, they're not getting a power play off a ticky-tack call. There's no makeup calls coming Dallas's way. If they get a power play, it's going to be because of a major penalty or a substantial penalty, high stick, something they have to call. It's not ticky-tack.
Well, let's add to that too and say, and I know I'm going to sound like a homer here to Stars fans, but the Blues played a very clean game. They were very disciplined. They never got out of line, in my opinion. I mean, there was a lot of pushing and shoving after the whistle, but the Stars were doing the same thing. There wasn't just on one side. So, as far as the gameplay goes, I didn't see the Blues hook a lot. I didn't see a lot of slashes. There was one play, and I can't remember what it is now, but I do remember one time in the first overtime thinking, "Ooh, no!" And it wasn't a call, but it was one where I thought, first period they might call that, but that was really the only one that comes to mind. I mean, I thought the Blues really, really brought it to Dallas in a clean manner and a disciplined way for a team that knows that, again, one shot can change your entire season. So They really just played a solid, clean game.
And to be honest, they didn't call a number of penalties actually on Dallas that could have been penalties. If you want to get down to the brass tacks and talk about what penalties were let go, that play where Tarasenko went wide on the defenseman, I forgot who it was. He got the shit cross-checked out of him. It was just, I mean, it was a nasty cross-check up high on his shoulder. That's a penalty all day long. But it was an overtime in a game 7. So obviously not being called. I had no problem with it not being called. But if you're going to be a Stars fan and complain about we didn't get any power plays, well, you know what? You didn't get a penalty there in overtime when it really could have been called. And actually, if they had called that, I wouldn't have been shocked. But I get why they didn't call it. It's just the way it goes in playoff hockey.
So speaking of Colton Parayko, I want to mention something Josh Webster says here. He says, I think Colton Parayko has picked it up ever since he hurt Bishop. He's actually firing the puck now and not just handing it to Bouwmeester. That's true. But I do want to mention, I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, especially in the first period. Every single time Parayko got the puck, the entire crowd shoot.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted him to shoot again on Bishop.
And he didn't have, I mean,
awesome.
I was wanting to too, but he didn't have a lot of opportunity, to be honest. They were kind of smothering him, which, it made sense. I didn't see a shot totals for the game, but I don't think he had a ton.
No. By the way, the Blues are playing the San Jose Sharks in the Western Conference Final.
So we'll open up on the road. They have home ice on us.
Thanks for the spoiler. I have 14 seconds left.
Spoiler alert, they don't score.
I'm in a handshake right now. My God.
Rose, why don't you tell me that?
I'm actually I'm in the handshake line too, so I guess I must have caught up somehow.
I don't know how that works. That's impossible. So after the Zuccarello goal to tie it up, it was pretty much a goalie clinic by both goalies, mostly Bishop, because he had the most work, as the Blues peppered and outplayed the Stars badly in the second and third periods. I mean, we outshot them, was it 30-something to 4?
Yeah, the 4 shots in basically 2 periods.
Yeah. Oh my! I dominated on the shot clock and on the shot counter, and had so much pressure in the offensive zone. And I think the longer this game went on, with the Blues not scoring, with all this pressure in the second and third periods, they should have, in all honesty, they should have won this game 4-1 or whatever. They had so many chances. Bishop made a number of good saves, and I got nervous. I got really, and then all of a sudden we don't score, and then my God, Dallas gets a couple of good chances, like with less than a minute to go. Was it one of the wraparound by Rupe Hintz? He had less than a minute to go. He had a wraparound chance, and I think Edmondson's stick got in the way, and then it hit the post, and Binnington wasn't over didn't go from post to post, and didn't get his leg over a pad over. So oh God,
we'll talk about the Ben chance again. I'm sure that'll come up, but we talked about this earlier today between the three of us that I think we're kind of seeing the hole in Binnington's game. And I think teams are trying to expose it. For some reason, he is not strong on wraparounds. That's kind of been one of the few weaknesses we've seen all season from him. I remember somebody scored, was Roman Josi in one of the Nashville games. And yeah, I just think, I don't know what it is. He doesn't seem to get his leg over fast enough. His leg seems to go into the net rather than to the other post.
It didn't even get over to the net. Both those wraparounds, the one by Hintz and the one by Ben, later on in overtime, and he didn't even get to the other side. He that was weird. His pad was angled towards the net. Really fortunate both those didn't go in, to be honest. And I thought the Ben one was in. I thought a couple of them were in. I was like, the way things were going, and my God, how many times? I can envision that puck going in, just on the Blues history and how things go in the playoffs for the Blues. I can see that puck, that wraparound attempt going under his pad and in, as opposed to the hitting his pad and coming out.
Well, and how many times have we seen too just the weak goal, like you said. I mean, just the Blues just dominating play all the way through, and then the Stars just skate it down and score. That was what I was thinking was going to happen. Blues just dominate. Okay, best defense is a good offense, so they're gonna pressure. But then Dallas, Binnington not facing a lot of shots, getting a little cold back there, maybe not getting a feel for the puck because he hasn't seen it in a while, and the Stars just coming down and scoring. And yeah, that Ben chance especially, I thought, oh no, here we go.
Okay, here we go. We got the schedule for the next round. Saturday starts Saturday, May 11th, 8 p.m. in San Jose. And then so Saturday, Monday, so no back-to-back, which was speculated today. The league was wanting to do Saturday and Sunday back-to-back. So that won't happen. So it's Saturday, May 11th, Monday, May 13th at 9 p.m., then Wednesday, 8 p.m., Friday, 8 p.m., and if necessary, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. And there's a 3 p.m. game on Sunday the 19th. So they're all 8 and 9 p.m. except for Sunday, May 19th. So we have late games.
It doesn't make any sense that we would have 8 o'clock starts here. They should not be. There's no reason for doing double headers because you're down to 4 teams, 2 games.
I don't get that either.
I don't like it at all. I
assume the double headers are not. I assume the double headers are not when we're playing in San Jose.
No.
Wait a minute.
St. Louis.
What 8 p.m. games are you seeing?
Saturday. Wednesday.
Are you looking?
No, that's
Eastern?
you're reading. You must be reading Eastern time.
Oh, I am. I'm sorry.
Yep.
God damn it, Kurt.
No, don't blame me.
You've only lived in the Midwest your entire life.
To recap, so we can all try and forget Kurt's egregious mistake. Saturday.
Tim McKernan put this out Eastern time. Okay, it's not my fault.
Saturday, May 11th, Blues at Sharks, 7 o'clock. Game 2, Monday, Blues at Sharks, 8 o'clock, and this is Central Time. Game 3, Wednesday, Blues versus Sharks, 7 o'clock. Game 4, Friday, Blues versus Sharks, 7 o'clock.
So those are good times.
Yep.
7-8, 7-7. And then 2, and then 7-8, if necessary.
An afternoon game is interesting. Usually Western Final, you don't see a ton of afternoon games.
Every time I think of afternoon playoff games on a weekend, I think of the ESPN theme song or the ABC theme song when it was ABC back on Channel 2 when they have games on ABC or actually Channel 30 at the time.
Oh, that was the one that went.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one. If everybody wants you, why isn't anybody calling? I thought it was that one.
No, that's not that one at all. Mm-mm.
You don't have to answer. Just leave them hanging on the line.
That should be that. Did you guys listen to Y98 today at all?
Didn't need to.
Because they were playing Gloria 24. They still are 24 hours. They're going to play it until tomorrow. I guess tomorrow morning.
I think midnight tonight.
Midnight. Okay.
Yeah. I did. I actually admit I did turn it on twice today just to make sure. Like, man, are they still doing it? And I will say the second time I tuned in, it was tonight at like 7 o'clock. It was actually pretty clever. And I'm guessing they probably did this throughout the day. I guess they have a segment on at 7 o'clock every night. It's like top 7 at 7. And it's their top 7 requested songs throughout the day. And they play them like, here's number 7, here's number 6. And they actually had somebody on there saying, and your 7th most requested song was Laura Branigan with Gloria. And then the 6th one would come on. And number 6 is Laura Branigan with Gloria. It was actually pretty clever how they did it. It was funny. But yeah, there's no way I could have listened longer than that.
In overtime, Edmondson was stopped on a great low shot from the slot in OT. I believe this was set up by O'Reilly. I thought that was going in. Edmondson has an overtime winner in his credit. To his credit, does he not? I thought he did. Yeah. So that was a great save by Bishop, and then Ben missed on a wraparound in overtime. We talked about real close to going in. There was a picture posted online. That puck, it was close. that Ben's wraparound was close. I think it was like on the line or halfway over, maybe even. But it's really hard to tell in the picture that would. I mean, I'm sure Toronto had better looks and an overhead camera look at it, but but they couldn't. I was waiting after that play when I saw the replay and the play went on. I was waiting for the horn to go. Were you guys?
Yeah, I was too.
I'm like, please no, because if the horn goes off, game's over. They're saying it's a goal. And the game's over. So I'm please no horn for the next like 30 seconds or a minute. I'm like, please God no. And when it didn't happen, I'm like, okay, good. They determined it's not a goal. Whew, because that was close.
Just a quick correction I wanted to mention now. Douglas Zed. Let's keep calling him Zed. I like that better. Roman Yossi was on Allen in Nashville, so that's a good point. I remember that now. Thank you, Doug. And then Doug also says, geez, Kurt, I don't know what's worse, Kurt's massive fail on game times or Bill being late.
You know what? Go talk to McKernan about it on Twitter. I mean, yeah, it says in parentheses ET. I get it, Eastern time, but I was looking at the times. I didn't. Yeah, whatever.
Tim, my man, I know you're listening. Why don't you go ahead and join the show here and explain yourself?
Go complain to McKernan.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was another moment with the Ben situation where I thought Jamie Benn reminds me so much of Owen Nolan from back in the day that it would have just been poetic for him to be the reason the Blues' season ends. And so when that wraparound happens and you kind of see, okay, that was really close, I'm sitting there going, oh, Jesus, the horn's going to sound. And I even like my brain was so ready for the horn to sound. I started hearing it in my head. I'm like, nope, that's just your head. You're playing tricks on yourself. Stop it. Just stop it.
Talk about negative conditioning, man. We are an abused fan base here.
We've been through so much, and history repeats itself, and you're just waiting for the hammer to fall and to crush your dreams. I mean, how many times have we had our hopes crushed in the playoffs just ripped? You think you got it, you're so close, there's one shot and you go and you advance and it's ripped away from you. It sucks.
Something about a Steve Yzerman goal.
Yeah, Steve Yzerman goal is one of many.
Well, and I mean, let's face it, we'll get to the goal here in a minute, but we're so tortured that the Maroon goal goes in. My first thought, even before celebrating, is, oh, don't call goalie interference. Like I probably missed something, and that was probably goalie interference.
My first thought when it went in, or when the shot happened, from the camera angle, you can't tell, but I thought the first shot, like I thought it post Bishop in. That's what I thought happened. I thought it post off his back and then in the net, and I started celebrating probably before Maroon hit it in because I thought it was in first. But yeah, it was before that even though Cogliano, which we talked about, missed that which we thought the game was over. And I think this game was not fun for me. It was I said before, it was uncomfortable and it was painful because the Blues had outplayed the Stars, outchanced them badly, and I just kept waiting for the Stars to put one in to ruin what should have happened with the Blues having the better game.
Yeah, and listen, the Cogliano chance, I said it earlier. I mean, I even said out loud, that's a goal. Like, it's a goal. I mean, as dumb as it sounds and as ridiculous as it sounds, the Blues' season flashed before my eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I seriously started thinking, like, all this was for nothing. Second round, great. You got some playoff revenue. You got some experience for Robert Thomas. But, I mean, I've got all these thoughts in that brief second are just flowing through my head. And I'm thinking, God damn it. I mean, for example, Game 5 against the Chicago Blackhawks in 2014 when Jonathan Toews scored in overtime. I was at that when I was at that game. I was at that game 6 rows from the ice. I still to this day have not seen that goal. because the minute that he got the puck at the blue line or the red line or whatever that was after Keith cleared it,
Uh-huh.
I put my hand in my head and I said they just lost, and
Yep.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't watch it.
It's the worst feeling. Doug
And
Johnson,
to this day, I have not seen it.
Zed said in the YouTube chat, past performance may not be indicative of future results.
Thank you.
Quote Bill. But so okay, Maroon's goal. And I want to break this down because it's an interesting play when you break it down and you kind of slow-mo it and watch what happens and takes place. So the face-off in the star zone. Bozak is centering Thomas and Maroon. Maroon's on the near boards. So Bozak wins the draw. It goes towards the boards, but it bounds off a couple sticks. Quickly back behind Bozak, where Thomas had moved in, and he grabs the puck. Now the set play here, and we've seen it before, where Thomas goes to the boards and then heads to the corner, and either goes behind the net or tries to make a play. But he gets cut off by the Stars defenseman Klingberg, who was battling Maroon. So instead of going on the boards, Thomas improvises and cuts back towards the faceoff dot, curling by Maroon. Hins, who was opposite Bozak on the faceoff, sticks with Bozak as Bozak goes to the slot, which leaves a bit of an opening on the ice for Thomas to get to the net. Thomas skates into a prime scoring area before Heiskanen can move over to block the shot, and he goes high on Bishop glove side, ringing off the post, and then Maroon's gliding towards the net. The puck bounds off the post, hits the back of Bishop's head, falls behind him in the crease, and then Maroon sees the whole thing, and by this time is right on top of Bishop, and simply gets the puck before anyone else as he reaches over Bishop to knock it into the net behind Bishop, and it was Maroon's third goal of the playoffs, second win of the series. And this play kind of shows Thomas's vision in a nutshell. I think that might be kind of go unnoticed by a lot of people about what happened, but what transpired. But the set play was kind of cut off, and he improvised, and it turned into a goal. It was just kind of a neat thing to slow down and watch.
Kurt, I like to make a suggestion for you. You need to get a sound effect when you do one of these breakdowns.
Yes,
it's like Kurt's breakdown.
Yeah, or one of these. Could do that too.
Yeah. I don't know. You could do better.
That one's not appropriate for the moment. No,
because you're so well spoken and well versed.
You know what? No, I'm nothing if not. I do okay. Hey, what about one of these? I could do.
That is my ringtone.
That's
really?
Jerry.
Yeah.
That's a badass tone. So
Bill, you're getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, on that play, Thomas, and so going into overtime, I think it was Keith Jones on the in between periods discussion, going into just overtime before not the second overtime, but just right before overtime started, he said, if the Blues win this game, Robert Thomas is going to be involved. And, that I thought that was, just a very wise thing to say, because he was by far the Blues most dynamic, most creative player on the ice last night. And, it was just, for a 19-year-old to pull that off and call the audible and make the play, just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Vince Dunn earlier, who's also a younger guy. Right along the ice with him was Robert Thomas. I mean, Douglas Johannes said in the chat here, Thomas is an effing beast. I seriously think he is getting better every time he plays. That was his best game. I think that was his best game of the season last night.
Right.
He put the team on his back and played fantastic. And if that is a glimpse, just a tiny glimpse of what we'll see for the next 10, 15 years from him, holy shit, look out, NHL.
Doug Gilmour.
Yeah.
He's maybe not exactly the sandpaper type of player as Doug Gilmour, but Jesus, have we had a better, young, exciting, all-around prospect since Doug Gilmour?
Not since Peter Sena. Oh, the Hercus Circus, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, Circus.
Um,
Tony Jerkus.
okay, so there was some chatter again on Twitter today about, and there always is, about the national broadcast guys, about about showing favoritism. Have you guys noticed? I mean, I'm sure it's always over the place, showing favoritism towards the Stars and against the Blues. But if you go on the Stars Twitter, they're all talking about how the announcers are showing favoritism towards the Blues and they're against the Stars. So okay, do you guys think that the broadcast team and the studio analysts, Jones and Sharp, were they favoring Dallas at all in the series, or were they? Go ahead.
I'll just say, first of all, I think I have loved the addition of, and I never thought I'd say this about a former Blackhawk, Patrick Sharp. I think he's been fantastic.
Former Star too.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of his.
Yeah. He has been great. I mean, he was last year, he had just retired. He was pretty raw. But he's worked at it, and he's actually very good in the studio.
I take him a million times over anybody else in the NBC crew. The exception, I think Liam McHugh does a good job. I don't want to bash him, but that's obviously a different role. That's running point. But yeah, I think he's been great. But to your question, I know it's hard to say. I mean, I think Joe Buck. I love on his Twitter profile, he has, "Yes, I hate your team," because everybody thinks that Joe Buck hates their team. And so you're going to see that with every national broadcaster. It's hard for me to say. I mean, we could sit here and bash AJ and Kendall Coyne. I was not.
AJ was better than Kendall. AJ was better than Kendall.
AJ was way better than Kendall.
Kendall was god awful. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Awful.
She needs
good friend of mine said NHL playoffs is not a good time to teach someone how to talk on TV.
AJ has a career in has a degree in as a broadcast or not something related to the broadcasting field. So she has at least some experience or whatever background. But I don't know what Kendall's background is. But whatever it is, she's god awful. I would love for her to like polish her game in a high school or college setting, or a junior team maybe. But I just to throw her to the
NBC they're trying to capitalize off what happened at the All-Star game, which you can't blame them, but it's not working.
I don't blame them for trying. Well, did she have an audition? Did no one screen her?
True about Patrick Sharp last year. I mean, he didn't, he basically, hey, this is a guy that, lots of appeal to the ladies. We're going to put him on the TV and, oh my God, he's awful. One off season. And, he is, as we just said, just the best in-studio analyst that NBC has right now. So,
well, and that's how it started with Let's Go Blues Radio too. Bill, when we brought you on, it was for the eye candy, but you've turned out to easily be the best of the three of us.
Wasn't Kendall the one that was down on the ice with Pierre when he said they're they're to your left and they're to your right? Yeah,
right. She totally mansplained hockey to her.
Yeah, and now I'm looking back and I'm like, well, maybe he should have. Because she's not good at. I mean, she's a good hockey player. Don't get me wrong, but she's not a good broadcaster. She needs to work on it.
No, and I'll be honest. Listen, I respect her. I love her game. I saw her play for Team USA, and she was great. I loved that she was involved in the NHL All-Star game. So there's nothing against her and her skill set and her hockey mind.
Not being sexist.
Just what's that?
Not being sexist either.
No, of course not. I'm not. Because I like I said, I'm a huge fan of hers, and I was very happy when NBC gave her a chance because, I had actually watched her play in the Olympics, and I remember her and saying, "Oh man, that she's great." But broadcasting isn't for everybody. Let's be honest. I hope she stays involved in the game. I hope, and hey, maybe she goes down, polishes her game, like Patrick Sharp, comes back and she's great. But right now, I have to say, broadcasting may not be your future. Maybe coaching, maybe I don't know, maybe writing. I don't know. I hope she stays involved in the game in some way, but yeah, right now it's not good to be a broadcaster. Like you said, work on the high school games, work on the college games, juniors. Maybe you can get somewhere. And with AJ, I think AJ was she's good. She's obviously polished, and I just didn't like her takes. I didn't like the way she broke down the game.
Oh, that's what I thought you'd say, you dumb fucking horse.
You calling me the horse in this situation?
I don't know. I just saw it and I thought that would be funny to play.
But to get back, I don't know if you want to get back to your original question.
No, I mean, well, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes or no question, Ponder. Answer fucking yes or no.
No. My answer is no. Let's move on. No, I honestly just it's hard for me to really say because, like I said, I'm fully aware of fans always saying that these guys hate my team. So being aware of it, it's just I try to just brush it away. And for the most part, my wife and I are providing our own commentary when we're watching games. When I'm with my buddies, we're providing our own commentary. So I'm not really listening that closely. So it really doesn't bother me. The only thing that really gets to me is the mispronunciation, which we could go on a 4-hour rant on. But that's the only stuff. I mean, when it comes to the homerism or picking their team over the other, there's always the thought that they're picking the bigger market. They want the bigger market to win. I don't think the people watching the games and commenting on the games really give a shit. Even if they're told, hey, we're rooting for Dallas here. I don't think they're going to call the game differently.
That's not. I don't think that's a thing at all. I don't think that the broadcasters want Chicago to win. I honestly think that if they sound like they're excited about one team over the other, it might be because I don't know, that team is winning that game or dominating that game or playing well in that game at that point, at that moment. Or they're in that team's building where it's loud and they're kind of getting swept up in the moment. I don't think there's. I mean, sure, broadcasters may have a rooting interest. I don't know, sometimes, but I don't think really it ever comes through to where I'm thinking, gosh, they really hate the Blues. I've never thought that about a broadcast team. I've thought, gosh, they're talking about the Hawks a lot. Well, yeah, I mean, when at the time. They were a really good team, and they were probably winning the game, and they were probably in the United Center. So I mean, I don't know, and they probably have more stuff to talk about with them. I don't know. I really it kind of I don't know. It bothers me when people really just default to the they hate the Blues and they're just talking about the Stars nonstop and all this. I didn't see it in Game 7 at all. That they were what they were saying about that.
The only thing there was one sequence, and I want to say it was the broadcast crew. I think it was both Kenny it was the in studio crew, where they were breaking down a Stars play, and they just told it seemed like totally from their perspective, because it was a blown play, and they're like, and unfortunately Ben missed the shot, or the puck rolled off of Cogliano's blade. And it was one of those two plays, and it just, I'm like, that's an odd way to phrase that for a neutral party.
Yeah.
But, without the qualifier of unfortunately for the Stars,
right? And that's what I thought they probably meant to say, or maybe it wasn't said. I get that. I think one of the things that was said on Twitter too was the in between periods. I think it was after the third period when the Blues had dominated second and third, and I think it was Jones said that, boy, you can really see that the Blues not being able to score after dominating and outshooting the Stars so much in the second and third. You really think that the Stars might get one. Their Stars might come through. and steal this game because the Blues couldn't get it done. And I think that was what a lot of people were talking about. Oh, the Blues have dominated. Now they're saying the Stars are going to win. And I'm like, I think
I felt exactly the same way.
I know.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. I'm like, that's the exact same thing I was thinking of. It's like, how can you not think that? I thought it was a great analysis. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, we haven't taken advantage of our scoring chances, and they're going to swoop in and steal the game. That's a perfectly normal analysis. I'm not sure what the outrage was about that.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier that Jordan Binnington's not seeing a lot of action, makes a goalie cold sometimes, and that's why sometimes you see teams that are just getting utterly dominated but have a great goalie be able to just skate down and score a goal real quick. And it's like, oh man, we just spent 10 minutes in their zone. They spend 30 seconds in ours and they score a goal. Well, a lot of times it's because of that. And yeah, that's how the game flows sometimes. And yeah, I don't think that's a negative thing to say about the Blues at all, because we've seen it happen a million times.
Yeah, that's a thing that happens. So the Blues outshot Dallas in this game 54-30, and I think they said that it was the third or fourth highest combined save percentage in a playoff game of all time for Binnington and Bishop. Mostly because of Bishop.
Yeah, I mean, let's give Bishop his due, man. Coming into this game, I totally expected he was coming in, playing injured, just trying to gut it out. He was phenomenal. That was top 2 or 3 individual game playoff performances of any goalie I've ever witnessed. I think I go back to 03 in Jaguar. He had a couple of just insane games where the Red Wings should have won, and the Wings were such a better team. Not like, I think the Blues and Stars are a lot more even than the Ducks and Red Wings were back then. He was just phenomenal. I mean, the 2 Blues goals, both of them hit the tee on the crossbar on the goalpost, right? One went in, the other bounced off, hit his back, and Maroon swooped in for the overtime winner. They had to be inch perfect to beat him last night. 54 shots, and he stopped 52 of them. It was a brilliant, brilliant performance. It'll long be remembered in this town. And he is really at the peak of his career at this point, I think.
Binnington has, had 24 wins in the regular season. He's got 8 more. He's at 32 now. So he's 30. It's 32 wins. Where does that put him? Is it? He had 24 wins during the season. Let me see. He had. Where's goaltending? There it is. 24 wins. Yeah. So he has 32 now. I know that playoff stats don't figure into the Rookie of the Year voting, but based on his performance in the playoffs and how he's been, does that, if playoff performances did come into play, would that say, oh, well, Binnington is more legit now than he was during the season, and would you give him the Calder trophy?
Well, yeah, and that hypothetical, yeah. I mean, we're seeing
you get 8 more wins, and
we're seeing more important. We're seeing him play more important games than Pettersson ever did.
Right, and that's and so if you're looking at the playoff games as being twice as more important as regular season, which is what they kind of factor in when they figure suspensions. So if you're going to suspend somebody for 2 games in the playoffs, that's equal to 4 in the regular season. So actually, 8 playoff wins is like 16 in the regular season, right? So that's 40. It's 40 wins that he's got if you kind of do math and equations and such.
God, stop! You're killing me.
So that's 40 wins. So where does that put him in the wins this season category? My point is that I think people that might say that his season was he didn't play as many games. I think he's kind of proving himself here that it maybe didn't matter. He only played as many games as he did. If he had played 50 games this season, he may have turned in the same performance. So
The thing that really impresses me about him isn't just that he's played so well in the playoffs. It's the game last night. Again, I know he wasn't Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop was on another level, so it's hard to even talk about how good Biddington was. But the fact that that just goal that we all hated goes in the first period. You got a 1-0 lead. Puck goes off the skate of an official.
Not his fault at all.
No, I know. And what I'm saying is, it's just one of those goals that it's maddening. It's frustrating. It's what the fuck just happened? This is game 7. That can't happen right now. And he was able to still just get his composure and play lights out the rest of the game. Stretches where he's not even seeing zone time from the Dallas Stars to where he's moving laterally and trying to watch the puck. He's watching the play at the other end of the ice for long stretches. And then they come down and get a couple chances here and there. And he's, well, you have in the notes here, I don't know if you even mentioned it, the breakaway save in the first period.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked so calm and collected. He breakaway first period, I think that was when the Blues had the lead, correct?
No, it was before.
So it's nothing. So he's got a breakaway. Game 7, he's a rookie, breakaway coming in on him, and the dude just almost nonchalantly, it was a Radek Faksa, I believe, nonchalantly sticks his glove out, makes the save, covers up. Hey, let's go to a TV timeout. I mean,
that's all.
The way that he is just so composed all the time, that is what has impressed me about him.
That save, that was all about positioning of his glove, and that's one thing that I've been impressed with him about is his glove positioning. I don't know, Bill, you can comment on that, but that happens a lot, whereas his glove is in the right spot and they hit it every time.
It is for me. It was something I could never master. It's just awkward holding the glove up. At least for me, it was always awkward holding it kind of up and out. And so your natural inclination is that the windmill type save is easier to do when in fact it's the exact opposite. It's what Biddington does: hold the glove up and out, and you can get down instead of having to try to windmill and hope to get a piece of it. It gives less visual sight. You cannot see the upper corner with that. And yeah, I mean, it's his glove positioning is phenomenal.
Isn't the theory on glove positioning for goaltenders has changed quite a bit, hasn't it? Because back in the day, it was hold it, like you said, like you're preparing for the windmill type save.
Right.
So your glove's kind of low, right?
Hold it out to the side.
The side and kind of low. So now a lot of goalies they'll turn it up and they'll have it out. And that's interesting because I've had people, other goalies explain to me before about how that their theory was like, okay, well, theories have changed where they might hold it midway. So it's quicker to go up or down, like a portion of the way, as opposed to holding it lower and then coming all the way up. Which you don't see the dramatic glove saves anymore. The whole windmill throwing your body back,
Statue of Liberty.
You don't see it. You don't see that anymore because of the glove positioning has changed completely.
Right. You've seen one of those saves by Biddington this year, and that was on David Backus.
Yeah, and that was when he was out of position and flailing. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He was scrambling, and he got what he needed on the puck.
Right. Interesting.
Crave Walrus in our chat says, to be honest, I would rather him be a cup champion than a Calder winner. I think we all agree with you there, sir.
Yeah, he's not going to win the Calder, but I don't think. But yeah, no, I think everyone agrees with that. You can have both too. I mean, there's no.
That'd be nice.
All right.
No, I mean honestly, it'll be cool just to. I mean, I'll admit I've actually lost a lot of interest in the NHL award show. I used to religiously okay, it's Thursday night, 7 to 9 o'clock. I am not doing anything. I want to watch this. It just doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. But I'm excited to actually watch Jordan Binnington and see him in the crowd and just be, hey man, that kid deserves to be there. Ryan O'Reilly too. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, let's hope they're there as Cup champions. That would be even better.
Did you see his reaction after Maroon's goal? Bennington's reaction?
Yep.
No, I didn't actually.
They showed the overhead camera from he did what he always does. Tap the post and skates off. He didn't celebrate, didn't pump his fist, nothing.
Yeah.
So I tweeted out, I'm like, you know what? It's comical. But at this point, I think there's something wrong with him. How do you not at least just pump your fists or do something to celebrate that moment? It's weird to me. I mean, I'm a very emotional guy when I play. I yell, I celebrate, I do shit, but he is the polar opposite of me. And he does absolutely nothing. So weird to me.
Yeah, I played with a guy in one of my greatest hockey moments was when I scored a shootout winner in a championship game in a tournament, and I went crazy. And then but that wasn't the last play. The last play had to be a goalie save. Our goalie that year was insane. He makes the save. Same thing as Jordan Binnington. He just kind of like looks over at the bench, puts his hand up. We're all going crazy. He just skates off. And we're like, dude, wait, we got a whole presentation to get like a trophy and stuff. Like, come back. And we asked, and he's in the locker room. We're all, beers, everybody. And he's just taking his pads off. Hey, good game, guys. And then he just leaves. How are you not excited? Like, that was an exciting game. And it's just sometimes I think that's just how some guys are.
The Blues held Dallas to 1 shot in the second period, 3 shots in the third. Outshot Dallas 31-4, which we talked about earlier in the second and third periods. The overtimes combined were 13 shots apiece. So the overtimes are much more even though the Blues, I thought, during the first overtime, had the much better to play early on. And then Dallas came on later, and the shots kind of evened out. But in the second period, Dallas came out with a number of chances. And I thought, Craig, I mean, were you guys in this boat too, where when the second overtime started and Dallas came out and they had some chances and they can't control the play a little bit, you're like, we're out of gas. The Blues look tired.
Yep, absolutely. It's Dallas. You felt like they had been playing so much on their heels for so much of the game that they probably had more energy at this point. And yeah, I think it contributes to what we talked about, that impending sense of we're going to lose this. Just because the Blues did, just look flat. They were able to, Dallas was able to pick their way through the neutral zone for really the first time in the game. And yeah, it didn't look good there for at least a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's face it too. I mean, that's where frustration's got to be setting in too. They've had so many chances and they played so well, and they're getting so many shots on Bishop, and he's just standing on his head. The only reason this game is still going is Ben Bishop.
5, 4.
What is that?
Sorry.
An ad started playing on a site that I was on hockeyreference.com. What the fuck?
I hate that. But anyway, no, it's, so there's a little bit of frustration going on there. And you just got to think, the Blues are they're mad now. Like, they're mad in a bad way. They're not, let's finish this game. It's, oh my God, we're never going to beat them. And that was my thought. And it's, luckily it turned out the way we wanted it to. But yeah, started the second overtime. I'm thinking, Jesus, let's just try and hope for a breakaway here or something, because the Blues don't seem like they have it anymore.
Let's see. Well, I can't talk about the Western Conference stuff because that's all old news now, because we're playing the Sharks starting Saturday.
Well, let's ask this question. If let's say the game's still going, do you guys have a preference on who the Blues should play?
I wanted Colorado. I think we talked about this last week. I wanted Colorado to start at home, to have the home ice advantage, and we've played better against Colorado this year. And I think that were, but now now Pavelski is back too with San Jose, so
Yeah.
that's a plus for them.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of exercising the demons from 2 years ago, and being the team that overcomes San Jose in the conference final. Yeah, I think the better matchup for the Blues would, the more favorable matchup was Colorado, especially, to Kurt's point, Pavelski's back, but also, I mean, Marty Jones found his game again, and that's kind of that's a big deal. That it's kind of like the Blues. All you need is a competent goalie to get you going. I mean, not that I think at this point that Bennington is just competent. I think he is a phenomenal goalie, but Jones is he's making the saves when he needs to now, and it's not something that we'd really seen in that first round. I thought for sure the Sharks were done.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it too. For me, this is reminiscent of 2001. In a certain way, not the exact same way, but that year it was let's win it for Ray for the Avalanche. It was, Ray Bork. This is probably his last year. I don't think he's coming back. He came to us just because he wanted to win a cup. Now Joe Thornton, he's not. It's not the same situation because he's been with the Sharks forever. I mean, since I think 04 or 05. So it's a little different, but this is probably the last hurrah for him and probably the last legitimate shot for some of these older guys on the Sharks, including Brent Burns. So that makes me a little nervous. I think they're going to be up for it. The Sharks are going to be, kind of, that's going to be their rally cry. Let's win it for Joe. But then again, that's been their rally cry now for 5 years? And they haven't been able to pull it off. I mean, they went to the Stanley Cup final when they beat the Blues in 2016, but they won one game there, and the Penguins just dominated them in every way. So it's not something I'm overly concerned about like I was in 01, but it's definitely something that I think is going to press the Sharks if they're down in a game or if they're down in the series 3-1, 3-2. It's going to push them to continue skating and not give up, and that could be an issue.
Scoring in the playoffs, Schwartz and Pietrangelo each have 11 points. Schwartz has 8 goals, which I think they said was second in the league in the playoffs this year, I think. O'Reilly 9 points, Parayko 7, Perron 6, Bozak 6, Tarasenko 5. Tarasenko's 5 points have come on all 5 goals, no assists. That's interesting. No assists.
Three of those are power play goals, are they not?
4. I think. Or is it 4? No.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't have that in front of me, but it's 3 or 4.
Keep Vamp. I'll look it up.
He has one 5-on-5 goal, I think, in the playoffs. I believe. So, let's see.
I'm looking it up. Looks like he has 4. You're right. 4 power play goals with he's tied for the league lead with Bergeron and Hurdle.
So odd. And I mean, in game 7, he was really he didn't have a ton of chances, but you could tell the effort was there. He was trying. I think they just going down. That driving wide I mentioned earlier, he got raped on the way to the goal.
He did.
He was a victim of the whistle being put away too at some points. So
yeah, I think so too.
Sundqvist 5 points, Dunn 5, Thomas 5, which is a little surprising. I would expect 5 points in 13 games is not terrible, but he, as much as he's been involved in the play, he almost expected a few more points.
Who are you talking about here?
Thomas.
Yeah.
He has 1 goal, 4 assists in 13 playoff games. Same amount of points as Bouwmeester. That's unusual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be honest. I know I said this probably last show. I have actually not been a fan of Bouwmeester's play up until game 6 and 7. I thought Game 6 and 7, he looked how we saw him throughout the end of the season. Before that, I thought, oh no, he's regressed back to the guy that we all hated. But yeah, he's looked great lately. So hopefully he can keep that going.
Yeah, Crave Walrus in the YouTube chat says the 1 5-on-5 was the goal he drove around Heiskanen. So that was a beaut.
Yeah, it was.
Need some more of that. I mean, he has not come alive in his playoffs yet. So I mean, we're waiting for that to happen.
Crave Walrus adds in the chat, Sharks 2 straight game 7s, a little older than we are. I mean, in 2016, we played 2 straight game 7s and couldn't do squat. Factor is going to be Tarasenko. He has to get going. Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see him still contribute a lot on the power play. That'd be huge. But obviously, you want him succeeding 5-on-5. I mean, I think still your hot player right now is Jaden Schwartz. And if he can keep it going, yeah, obviously Robert Thomas too, but if Schwartz can continue to play the way he has this playoff, I think that's going to be huge for the Blues.
The Stars were far and away better defensively than San Jose. I think the Blues have played the toughest team defensively in the playoffs so far. The San Jose. So as far as Tarasenko getting his game back and getting more chances and a few more goals, I think that's much more likely against a team like San Jose, who wasn't near as good defensively as Dallas was. So
yeah, but remember Vlasic sure had his number a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but well, we'll see. I like I said, well, I'm going by the fact that Dallas shut him down for the most part. But we'll see. I think what did does Boston have? How was Boston defensively? They're okay. I was looking at the rest of the teams left defensively, how good they are. Someone in the YouTube chat said that we're the best of the 4 remaining teams, which I think somebody said, well, Boston's legit. And they are.
I mean, let's face it, at this point, somebody else said it in the chat too, and I agree with this point that at this point, it doesn't matter who you play. They're all hungry teams. They're all good teams. 4 teams left in the NHL. They're there for a reason. So to say that we're the best or Boston's the best or shit, Carolina's the best, I just think it's not factual. You don't know. I mean, the way these matchups work out and the way that the hunger and the drive is going to take these teams over the next 14 games or however long it's going to take, we don't know. We don't know who the best team is yet. That's why we crown a champion.
According to moneypuck.com, of the 4 remaining teams, it's updated. Do you want to know who has the best chance to win the Stanley Cup?
Boston.
Carolina. Followed by?
The Blues.
St. Louis.
The Blues. And then Boston. And then San Jose.
Why Carolina?
Because they swept last round. This is based on that kind of thing. I don't think this is that. This is not that scientific. Because they got bumped up because they did quite well as far as taking care of business in the least amount of games. That factors in, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those that the money puck model especially really does take, there is a major recency bias in that velocity, if you will.
That's why that's why people were referencing moneypuck.com after every game. Right. And it would change. I'm like, don't do that stuff. That's the stupid noise. Don't do that. Maybe if you want to talk about it after each series is over. Then it's at least they're talking about what the team did last series and how they played, and that when it varies from game to game. Like, don't even.
I'll admit the only reason that I even pay attention to it at all is because we have the show. If we stopped doing this podcast, I wouldn't even pay attention to it.
It's on Twitter and people post it and share it, so I look at it. It's kind of like power rankings. That's like, oh, I'll look at them, and it's just for discussion purposes. It doesn't mean much.
Exactly. And that's what podcasts are, is discussions.
Hey. That's all I got.
I want to ask one.
Okay, the group discussion. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask one quick question. We don't have to elaborate too much on this because it's a crazy idea, but just something that the back of my mind I started thinking about during Game 7. And again, I'm not saying I agree with this crazy idea, but I wanted to get your guys' take on it. I think we can all agree that Ryan O'Reilly, at the very least, is just tired and worn. He's not winning faceoffs. He doesn't look like the same guy we saw in 82 games this year. Even first round, he doesn't look like the same player. And obviously, the talk is he injured? Is he hurt? Is there something they're not telling us? Is he going to be the guy that when the Blues either bow out or win the cup or however it happens, is he going to be the first guy they're going to say, yeah, Ryan O'Reilly was playing extremely injured? So I want to ask this question. We got at least 4 games until elimination, right? Until either the Blues can eliminate or the Sharks can eliminate. So would it be a crazy idea to give Ryan O'Reilly one more day of rest? Actually, I guess 2 more days of rest and have him sit game 1.
Bill, you go ahead.
No, not game 1. Yeah, I don't. You need your best players, even if they're worn down. If he's injured, he shouldn't be playing. Period. But if it's a matter of fatigue, he should try to play through it. And I don't think. Yeah, I get the point. You've got the still 3 games left to overcome any deficit you get, but is one game going to recharge him for the rest of the way? I don't think that's the case.
He has 3 days off right now. I mean, the most he's had off so far in the playoffs has been 1. They haven't had 2 days off yet. Now he's got 3. So maybe if it's a fatigue thing, maybe that helps recharge him. 3 days off. If it's an injury thing, might not help him that much. And if it's an injury thing, I don't know if 1 game off is going to help him a whole lot anyway. Unless it's not going to heal in 2 days. I mean, if it's a broken finger or what, I don't know. But I think if it's a fatigue thing, I think 3 days and you got to roll with him. You can't, 5 days obviously is better. But, we're talking Ryan O'Reilly in a game game 1 that's pretty important. So on the road, I think.
Do you just stick him in a hyperbaric chamber right now and say you're not coming out until game time?
He could just be fatigued. I don't know. But the fact that he's losing faceoffs is kind of has a red flag to me that he's hurt somehow, or something's really sore, shoulder or a wrist or something, because he's not the faceoff guy that he was before. And faceoffs aren't something that all of a sudden you just lose the ability to do. I don't think that's the case. I think it's got to be an injury of some kind or something that's bothering, that's causing him to not be able to be as strong and as stick in the faceoffs as he needs to be.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I really agree with it myself. It's watching him play. I thought, man, if he could just get 1 to 2 more days of extra rest than everybody else, maybe that's all he needs. But you're right. I'll admit when the rumor originally started that San Jose, they might start Friday. If they get San Jose, if they get Colorado, it would start Saturday. I was like, okay, well then I want Colorado because I want 1 more day of rest, and I want Colorado and San Jose to go 5 overtimes on Wednesday night. So
yeah,
but yeah, now that I see no matter what, it's Saturday. Obviously, we know the schedule now. It's maybe the 3 days off is going to be all he needs. And then Josh Webster says, get ROR off the PK. It's wearing him down. Just get him off the PK. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe you just start limiting his time a little bit in game 1. You just don't play him as much. But then again, if you're doing that, you're just giving more time to other guys who probably need just as much rest as he does. He also adds ROR needs one of those Tom Brady mysterious drinks. Or some of Yori Laterra's stash.
Yeah.
And we do have a comment here from a Chris S. He says, "What's up, guys? Blues suck. Sharks will win."
Oh, that's from the Teal Town guys.
Oh, that's that Chris. Hey, buddy. Oh boy, you wanna do a? Oh, we might do a bet. Might do a podcast bet here.
We need to do a bet, eh? Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you're gonna lose.
I don't know, man. Last time we bet these guys, they had to put a logo of ours on their show and everything. I mean, I don't want to do it to them.
I don't. Yeah, I don't really want to do that to him again. I like those guys.
They're nice guys. I like these guys. They're nice guys. Just kill one of them.
I was so hoping you were going there.
I'll go Three Amigos.
They are funny guys.
They're funny guys. I like these guys. Yeah, no, and I think they requested that we join them on their show maybe tomorrow. So we're trying to work something out to see if that's going to happen or not. So, or when they're going to.
I'm guessing it's a post game show.
But no, a Thursday, tomorrow.
Oh,
a Thursday. I think that I don't know when they're going to do it, but they mentioned doing something. So we'll see what happens.
If we do, we will tweet that out for those of you who might want to see a little clash between Teal Town and Let's Go Blues Radio.
Yeah, we've each been on each other's show a number of times, and it's always a good time. They're good guys.
Yep.
They're already booked with me for the summer shows when I'm going to be talking to other teams. So you will be hearing from them, and I guarantee this upcoming series will be much of the conversation.
And you know what? They won in 2016, so I have no reservations about talking bad about the Sharks. And wanting the Blues to win, even more so when I'm on their show. For example, if we go on their show and discuss the upcoming series, which I'm more than happy to do, we'll enjoy it. But I think I will hold back a little less, seeing as how they went to the Cup Finals in 16 at our expense. So I think it's our turn this time. So I think I'll be making that point known a little more often than I would have if this was the 2016 all over again.
Right.
I'll throw another log into the fire. You know that in 2016, if the Blues would have beat the Sharks, they would have beat the Penguins.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a terrible, terrible showing. Pittsburgh, man, they reinvented hockey in that series. Speed over size and something like that. I don't know.
Stupid Sharks, the ruin the sport.
Yeah, letting Sidney Crosby win a goddamn cup again. What's their problem?
Okay. We're done? We're done.
Yeah, I think so. So one last quick little thing. Just got a text from so back in 2016, I did go to
yeah, you did.
San Jose, and I just got a text from my cousin who hosted me while I was out there, and he's actually going to be in town next week for games 3 and 4. So
wow,
we're going to work on plans to go to game 4. So
cool. Take him to Sunrise first, and then go to the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the shuttle.
Yeah, let's
there you go.
Let's see if we can maybe all get together for the game you're not going to. Maybe like game 3 or something.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
3 is when again?
3
Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, right?
Right. It's Wednesday night. So
I'm good. I'm free that night, I think.
So that's
remember Central Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
So
fuck off, Ponder.
I'm supposed to play softball, but I think I just came up with an injury.
you pulled a hammy.
Yeah.
One more thing for me too. I do want to say, met a guy earlier tonight. Actually, I didn't tell you guys about this.
That's for
came
your
to me.
Show, Jeff. That's for your other show.
Oh, that's right. That's for my Cam Soda show. That's right. No, I met a guy at the actually of all places, the gas station at Sam's Kirkwood, and he saw me in my Blues hat and first just shouted, "Let's go Blues" to me. And I said, "Hey, yeah, let's go Blues." And then as he pulled up closer, he said, "You're that guy on Let's Go Blues Radio." And I said, "Yes, that is me." And he said he loves the show. He usually podcasts, but he recognized me from the stupid video I put on Twitter earlier today where I was singing along with Gloria. So, yeah, Zeke and Kirkwood, thanks for listening. And
just the one Zeke.
Yeah, I'm sure there's only one Zeke that listens to our show. If your name is Zeke, please email us at radio@letsgoblues.com.
Hey, you got it right. Holy shit.
How about that?
Oh my God.
First time for everything.
It only took you like 7 years.
Everything's falling in place, boys. Everything's
right? It's all coming together. I love when a plan comes together. Where's my cigar? My George Papard cigar. A-Team reference for those in the know that know that kind of thing. Chris S. in the from the Teal Town says that there absolutely should be a bet. So
let's get
I guess
get on that.
they're gluttons for punishment with the betting. So I guess we'll have to do something else. Maybe we just send them something. They're beer guys, right?
Right.
Maybe we should like get like a shirt and a couple of beers or something, and like put that as a wager and ship it back and forth, or do that anyway. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool because
what's a player? I'm drawing a blank here. There's got to be a fairly good player that's played for both teams, right? In the past.
In the past.
Sharks and Blues.
Yeah.
Man,
I am drawing a blank on that.
I mean, I'm sure there's been somebody, but I can't think of any.
Darren Turcotte.
I was going to say Bill Guerin, right? He played for both teams.
Bill Guerin.
But
there you go. All right.
He played for everybody. So.
How about that? That's the bet. It's a Bill Guerin Blues jersey if we win, and a Bill Guerin Sharks jersey if they win.
Holy fuck! Probably a T-shirt and a beer. You're rolling out jerseys.
How about a meet and greet with Bill Guerin goes to the winner?
Have fun arranging that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll give him a call.
All right. I think that will do it for this week's show. Unless Pano's got any last minute stories he wants to tell.
Hey, Bill did it tonight too. I don't want to hear it.
That will do it for this week's show. I guess our next show will be not Wednesday next week. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Probably Tuesday. Maybe post game Wednesday.
Maybe what's that? Is maybe.
I'm leery of doing that in a playoff game though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, trying to schedule that for a playoff game that could go until 4 a.m. Not a good idea.
No, and we probably, if it went overtime, we'd probably cancel the thing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll work it out.
I would say good bet would be Tuesday, May 14th.
Yeah, we'll see. I hate doing on Tuesday or Thursday though. Wednesdays are so much better for me. But got to do what you got to do. That will do it for this week's show. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone. Sharks suck. That's for you, Chris. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
I think they got your number. I think they got the alias. Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again.